Hello and welcome to another video from HP Gaming's GameLINK. My name is Matt and today we have something very special for you. I'm very excited about it. Today we are going to be unboxing the 3 to 6 player game Villainous by Wonder Forge and Ravensburger games. I'm very excited about this. It's always nice to be the bad guy sometimes. As an extra special treat for you today, we're not just unboxing the base game, we are also going to be unboxing the Evil Comes Prepared expansion, as well as the Wicked to the Core expansion. You are very welcome. Now, for those of you who know a little bit about this game, you take on the role of different villains and you are trying to plot and fulfill their nefarious schemes while foiling the other villains in their tracks using their fate cards and decks and things as well. The first thing you'll notice about this box is that it's absolutely beautiful in its simplicity. There is the gold tint all around the outside. The lettering is amazing. It's just a glorious looking evil box and I can't wait to get inside. You'll also notice it's not shrink wrapped as well, so there's no plastic to throw on the floor so far. If you can't tell, I'm a little bit excited about this one, so we're going to get into it straight away. I tell a lie too. I said it was 3 to 6 players. You can play this game with just 2 players if you wish, but I do understand that there is more fun the more villains there are and the more mayhem there is as well. So first things first, we are going to open the box, and again, having Maleficent on the front and a nice green colour, it's just glorious. It's just so beautiful, isn't it? Okay, we've got instructions and a learn to play video link here. That's pretty straightforward. If you have a look here, it just explains taking on the role of a Disney villain. The components here, it's a glorious book here. It's quite fantastic. High colour so far, really very nice. Talks about movement, all the different rules and components. What looks quite complex is actually not so much. It's effectively a hand management game, and you have to obviously use your abilities and your cards to fulfill your win conditions on your own individual player board or in your own realm, I guess, for lack of a better term, because obviously while they're all part of the Disney universe, there is elements within your own individual spaces. So we'll come back to the pieces a bit later. Oh look, plastic! We get to throw some plastic on the floor, which is always quite exciting. So let's just be very careful as we go through this. What have we got here? Well, it looks like we've got the player boards, because each villain has their own plastic on the floor. Each villain has their own individual realm, and this is where the artwork comes into play. It's really fantastic. So here we've got Maleficent. Her objective to win the game is to start her turn with a curse at each of her locations. Now if you look here, you've got a little bit of a quote, and then this unfolds to reveal her individual player board with all of her realms. And you can see here there's places for cards to go above, places for cards to go below, places either side for decking and decks and your own personal deck and fate deck as well. And then you've got the individual symbols, and the artwork on each of the symbols is taken direct from the films. It looks so beautiful. I just want to start playing right now. I don't want to have to go back to my normal life. I want to keep playing. Captain Hook. You've got Jafar in the core game as well. Prince John. The Queen of Hearts. If I lose my temper, you lose your head. Absolute classic. And then you've got Ursula, the Sea Witch, as well. Now she has all the stuff from Little Mermaid. Just absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely amazingly gorgeous. We'll pop all those guys here. Cards. Oh my goodness. Cards. They have been split up, thankfully, into their own individual decks. You've got Jafar and Captain Hook. You've got Maleficent there. We've got Prince John. We've got the Queen of Hearts. And we've got Ursula. So we're going to open one of these. We'll open Ursula's one. Plastic on the floor. Plastic on the floor. Plastic on the floor. And Sebastian, the hero. Look at that crab. Now if I look at this deck of cards, the back of the cards It has the glorious symbol of each of the villains on the back, but halfway through that you'll find that you'll get her fate deck, or the fate deck for that corresponding villain, which is the same symbol just in white, and the fate deck obviously allows the other villains to mess with your chosen villain and stop you potentially from winning the game. So in your personal deck, there's a whole lot of cards that can be allies, different abilities, different curses and spells you can use to cause trouble, depending on your villain of choice. Not every one of these villains is going to be casting spells and wielding magic. The Sea Witch, definitely doing so. And then of course you've got the Fate decks. Now the Fate decks have, as I said, the foils. So in this case we've got Sebastian. We've also got King Triton. Scuttle is there too. Whoa, what a swim. And they just allow you to mess with Ursula for the other player's point of view or perspective, which is just awesome. So I'll pop those ones back in there. Let's have a look here. We've got Prince John's deck now. We'll have a look at here. Again, more plastic on the floor. I'm so glad there's plastic. I was worried I wouldn't be putting any plastic on the floor. And each of the setup and components is very similar. Obviously, each of the win conditions is incredibly different. Prince John, for example, just has to collect 20 power. Which sounds easy, but what everyone else knows what you've got to do to win the game. It's not always as simple and as straightforward as that. So Prince John's cards there, a nice orange background, and we have all the different cards there. So we've got some Maid Marians, we've got setting a trap and things as well to cause a bit of trouble for the other people. And then you've got obviously clever disguises and things in his fate decks. That would be Robin Hood, Maid Marian, things like that would obviously cause trouble for Prince John. Who should we do next? Who should we do next? Let's do someone from this side. Let's do Jafar, because he's nasty. One of the bigger villains. I think there's the villains they've chosen actually, I think, for these sets, not just for this one, but also for the expansions. It's a good mix. So there's villains from the Renaissance era, which is, Little Mermaid, Lion King, all that sort of stuff. But then you've got villains from way back when, obviously from Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, from the heyday of Disney films. And I think it's good they've broadened their horizons and not just done the villains that would be like your Maleficent, your Ursula, Sea Witch, your Jafar. They've gone back and done things like Prince John, and obviously Captain Hook is a classic villain. So being able to choose from that pool, I think, is quite fantastic as well. Now I believe, when we're talking about Jafar, he is one of the harder villains to play. I believe his win condition is actually quite difficult to achieve unless you get a good starting hand. It can be quite difficult to find all the different pieces that you need. You have to find the lamp in your deck, you have to have the genie in the bottle ready to go and change and obviously grant you wishes and things like that as well. It's a bit more complex than just simply collecting 20 power, for example. Although, as I said before, once you've played the game a couple of times, you'll know how it all sort of works. He's got different treachery to lose power coins, things like that as well. And that's Jafar's deck. Let's have a look at Maleficent. Let's see what we've got here. I'm just going to do this because sometimes those little pull tab things just aren't doing it for us today. Like just now again. They design them to be easy open and they're just not. That's okay. That's why we have our trusty pocket knife. So Maleficent's Fate deck is, I think, actually one of the most villainy, because the artwork obviously is designed from that same sort of era. So there's some amazing cards there. Prince Philip, obviously, the True Love's First Kiss, all those sorts of things as well. I'll put her in the middle. And then for dragon form for Maleficent, Wall of Brambles, Goons, Malice, things like that as well. Vanishing spells, lots of curses, the spinning wheel that puts her to sleep, things like that. Absolutely gorgeous. And then we've got the Queen of Hearts, off with her head, off with everyone's head. There we go. I like that they've stayed true to the original artwork. I think I've already spoken about that. I'm fanboying a little bit here, but it's because it's so gorgeous. It's so amazing. So here we've got different things about the croquet matches. I think the Queen of Hearts has to get card guards on each of the locations in her realm and then turn them into wickets so that she can take a shot and win the croquet match. Winning her the croquet match obviously wins her the overall game. So it's interesting the different schemes that they've got, because obviously they're not as simple as just taking over the world or you know, whatever the case may be. There's something that is relative to the story that they're from, which I think is cool as well. Now this contains cards that allows, or Fate deck I should say for the Queen of Hearts, allows for cards that allow you to make hero characters like Alice larger or smaller, or whichever the case may be. So the Queen might be ready to vanquish Alice, and then, no, we're going to cast Fate on you and cause Alice to grow 3 times in size and make her that much more difficult to defeat. Lots of ways to mess with all the individual heroes that are in the Queen of Hearts deck. And then finally we have Captain Hook. Open my deck of cards, Mr. Smee. You're welcome. Now, Captain Hook obviously is trying to defeat Peter Pan on the Jolly Roger in his realm. Obviously, if you haven't played the game, you don't know what I'm talking about, but work with me here. It has a nice lush purple, almost like a velvety feel, which is quite cool. And then you've got all the different pirate cards and things as well, allies that you can use to obviously help move different heroes around the board and obviously capture heroes and things like that as well. And for Captain Hook's Fate cards, obviously Lost Boys make an appearance. Peter Pan, fair enough, it's his story. Pixie Dust, Tinkerbell is there as well, for good measure, which is fantastic. And then we'll put those in here. And those are the 6 individual decks. Now, in the center of the box here, you have a little token, and the token is the Well of Power, I guess, that holds all of your power tokens throughout the course of the game, which are these. So the tokens in the game are just tokens. They come pre-cut and pre-punched, so no punching out of the boards, which is... I kind of like punching stuff out of the boards, but that's okay, that's just me. They're nice and thick. They make a good noise when you drop them on the table, and they're a bit bigger than I thought. I thought they'd be a bit smaller, but I do like that they almost are sort of not quite poker chip size. Still very tokeny, but they work. They make a good noise. Not as good as metal tokens, which would have been cool, but obviously you can't have it all. They do have the same gold trim to match the rest of the box, but they just sit in there and you collect tokens as you go. And obviously, depending on your different conditions, you can use the tokens for buying cards, activating abilities on cards. These ones here are a padlock token. And that padlock token is placed on different boards depending on who you're playing as. So for example, Captain Hook has a lock symbol on his board, on his location, and you can't access that location until you remove the lock. In this case, this location here would be locked until you reach a specific condition that you can unlock that ability there, that area to go and explore. And this one here is the Fate token. If you get Fate played against you by another villain, you place this down in front of you and you can't be targeted again until someone else has been struck by the Fate lightning. So it just keeps it fair so you're not getting punished all the time. Ooh! There's a surprise in the bottom of the box underneath the welt here, and they look like individual player cards or character cards. So I put this over here. They are literally just villain guides. Oh, it's a little booklet. Oh, that's cute. So you've got the main character guide here, and inside it folds out to give you a bit of an indication of what needs to be done for what location, how to use your deck to the best of its ability, and obviously how to ultimately win the game. And I think there's obviously one for each of the villains here. So there's Captain Hook, Maleficent, Jafar, Queen of Hearts, Ursula. There's not one for King John. Did I miss that? No, there is one for Prince John. There we go. And then you've got player aids as well. So villain objectives for every character, different action symbols to let you know what you can and can't do on a location. Nice and easy. It looks pretty straightforward the way they've explained it and laid it out. So it doesn't matter where you are. It's one of these games where I don't think you'll be referring to the rulebook all the time, which I really love. You can just get in and start playing. And I think that's brilliant, to be honest. That's absolutely brilliant. So I'll put those down here. Now, the tokens. Now the movers obviously move around the board depending on where you are in your individual realm. There's one mover per character, so we'll just have a quick look at those. We've got the Queen of Hearts. These are quite heavy too. Again, I didn't think they'd be quite so big, but they're very bold. Nice translucency, almost like it's a gel or a gemstone, which is quite cool. That's Queen of Hearts. Let me make some space here. The Queen of Hearts there. Now that's just badass. Jafar just looks quite giraffe. It was early, I had a late night. Jafar looks quite sinister. They got Captain Hook with his big feather in his cap there, which is very cool. He's very top heavy though. Prince John with the crown. He's actually quite short. I didn't realise he was that short, but that's alright. And then you've got here Ursula the Sea Witch, penned by all the tentacles and things as well. And then of course Maleficent is there as well, and that's quite cool too. The horns sort of tell it all really. And you'll use those movers to identify which location you're in as you make your way around. Everything fits nice and snug in the box. The box has got pretty much all the space used up, which is really nice. I like that. The best part about this game is that if you don't have 6 people to play with, you do not have to get this core box to play with the expansions, which we're going to have a look at very shortly. The expansions are standalone games, so you could get just the one that's got your favorite set of villains in it if you wanted to, and then effectively just play with those 3, and then you can play a 2 to 3 player game. It's nice and easy, straight out of the box, and you don't have to worry about, where am I going to find extra players? The game obviously plays quite easily with just 2 players, but obviously there's no one else to fate, so you will be fating each other back and forth, and obviously causing a lot of trouble for each other as well. I have found from my experience watching and my research on the game, best played with 3 to 4 players. Obviously with 6 the game would go longer. The more players there are, the more people try and mess with you, that sort of thing. But worth it. I think it would be absolutely worth it, and obviously check out later on, because I will be doing a review once I have played a few games. So let me just pop all this back in here, and we'll get on to our next box. Oops, I'm throwing things. I'm throwing power tokens everywhere because I'm so excited. Okay, let's see what we've got here. Alright, I'm just going to move this out of the way, and then we'll get on to the next box. Okay, so we're back. We're going to have a look at the next one now. This is the Evil Comes Prepared expansion. This one is for 2 to 3 players. Obviously is compatible with the other game as well, so you can just choose villains out of this box, go nuts. You can choose one of the villains from there, play with this one, and then obviously you just go to town. I'm just going to put that there so we still know what we're talking about. And this is, we're going to open up Villainous Evil Comes Prepared. Now this box has pretty much the same style of components, obviously for different villains, because it's obviously clearly Scar in the box, which is awesome. This one also contains Ratigan from Basil the Great Mouse Detective, which is very, very cool, a great little movie, and also Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove as well. And if you've seen that film, you know it's David Spade. It's very, very silly and a crazy bit of fun. Instruction manual, which looks pretty much the same as the other one, except thinner to fit in the box. Talks about specifics of the villains involved in this one, but the rules look like they're pretty much the same. Just a bigger, actually, it looks like it's a bolder design, because obviously it's further along, so they're able to tweak the different layout of the rules, which is very cool. You've got the 3 movers straight out of the box here, so let's have a look. We've got Ratigan with his top hat and his cape, very, very cool. We have got Yzma from... That's awesome. Yzma from Emperor's New Groove with her feather, and she's leaning back in a funny angle because she's all bony and hardly anything there of her. And then of course you've got Scar as well from The Lion King. That actually looks really cool. It's like a little totemic sort of thing. It's very good. So then we've got the player boards, which are pretty much the same as the other one. I didn't realise the player boards obviously folded. And I didn't realise that they had that little quote on the front of each one, which just adds it that much more excitement and things to it as well. So here we've got "Long live the King," and obviously when he delivers that line, he pretty much kills Mufasa himself as well. So the different boards there. Scar's objective: start your turn with at least 15 strength in the succession pile. Wow. So he's obviously got his own different victory condition, which obviously incorporates components that are specific to this game, or probably power tokens in the place of them. You've got Ratigan's board there. Oh, this is wicked, so delightfully wicked. Now, Ratigan is actually one of my... I actually really enjoyed Basil, the Great Mouse Detective, when I was growing up. Ratigan was voiced by the great Vincent Price, and if you haven't seen that movie, brilliant villain, brilliant villain. So I probably will take Ratigan for a spin once or twice. This is Yzma and her board. Her objective is to defeat Cusco using Kronk. Kronk obviously was, yeah, not exactly the brightest spark, but that's okay. Nothing against him, he's still a gorgeous human being. Okay, so here we've got the player guides for each of the different characters. If I can open the damn bag. There we go. It looks like there's player guides and little tokens as well for you. Okay. So you've got a little token here for Ratigan. This is another thing where I want to play Ratigan. It's something a bit different. So Ratigan, it's got a little token here, the Superior Mind. And it says, Ratigan's objective is to start your turn with the Robot Queen at Buckingham Palace. And if you've seen the movie Basil the Great Mouse Detective, you know what I'm talking about. If not, look it up. This one here is also turned over. On the other side, it's got Ratigan the Rat, not the Superior Mind. And it says that his objective is to defeat Basil the Great Mouse Detective. So I'm really excited to see how that works and plays out. His villain guide is there. I won't look at it, no spoilers. Scar and Yzma, and then of course more action cards as well. Over here we've got all the decks of cards, fate and power tokens. Now obviously we don't have the well like we have in the full box, but obviously you can use any other tokens, just put them in here while you play, which will be easy enough to do. Let's have a look at the different cards for our villainy friends. I'm going to start with Ratigan because excited for Ratigan. Everyone's got their favourite villains they're going to choose, so I suggest when you play these games that you roll a die or determine a turn order based on who's going to select their villain first, so that you get a choice from all the villains available and then obviously choose from there, just so there's no sour grapes if you don't get the villain that you want. Of course, having said that, if you don't get the villain you want, to play around and then go again. There's no reason to stop you from not going again. It's fantastic. Ratigan's cards are nice and dark and black, similar to Jafar, but they've just got a different design on them, very much more mechanical in its delivery. Ruffians, devious cards and traits and things as well. Absolutely beautiful artwork from the film, or in the style of the film, I should say. And then in the Fate deck, you've got Toby the Dog, absolute classic. Call for Help, Sabotaging, Mrs. Judson, Dawson, aka Watson, because Basil the Great Mouse Detective is pretty much, yeah, Sherlock Holmes, Basil himself, the man himself, and then the Mouse Queen as well. Just to make it that much more interesting for Mr. Ratigan to do battle. Then we have got, let's see, we're going to start with Yzma next. Yzma is obviously trying to kill off Emperor Cusco and take over. More plastic on the floor, I'm so excited. Big cleanup later on. Okay, so Yzma's cards have a great purple back on them as well. They've got llama art too, which I really like, and the actual art of the cards represents scenes from the film too, which is very, very cool. Finishing the job, that's where Kronk does his own theme music, which is a great scene in the movie. And then we've got here the Fate deck, which has things like Pacha, pulling the wrong lever. That's awesome. Peasants as well, and then Tipo, one of the kids that causes trouble as well. Again, if you haven't seen Emperor's New Groove, what are you doing? Stop this, go watch it and come back. You'll understand those jokes. Just take it back a couple of seconds, you'll understand the wrong lever joke. Alright, and then finally, and because it's Scar's featured, we'll put him in the middle. We've got here, oops, don't want to stab myself. That's not going to end well. Here we go. We have the Lion King cards for Scar, Injustice, Long Live the King, Be Prepared. How cool is that? Be Prepared. And then, yeah, just more cards, more villains to use. Stampede in the Gorge, Simba's down there. I'm doing quotes for all the villains now. Can you tell that I'm excited? Zazu is in the Fate deck. Timon and Pumbaa. Simba himself makes an appearance. Hakuna Matata. Hakuna Matata is in the Fate deck. You can use Hakuna Matata to choose a hero with a strength of 3 or less from the succession pile and play that hero or move the hero to any location. Prophecy. Pumbaa is here. They are all here. Nala, Rafiki, Mufasa, Sarat. Maybe I want to be Scar now. I can't decide. There's too many cool villains and things that you want to play with just so I can look at the cool cards. Oh, so exciting. So exciting. That excites me as well. Something a bit different. I love that all the villains have their own unique foils and ways to behave and different objectives, and they're all got their own slightly tweaked components specifically for their scenarios and their schemes. It's awesome. It's just such an awesome concept, and I'm hoping they're going to expand even further as we move along. So that's Evil Comes Prepared. And now one of the boxes that I am super excited about, which has one of my favorite villains. Well, it actually has 2 of my favorite Disney villains in this one box. So if I don't want to get the full game out, I may just open this game out and say, hey guys, this is what we're doing. When we host game nights and things and game showcases, I do tend to make sure that not only am I showcasing games I know people will like, but I'm also showcasing games that I know I'm going to enjoy as well and that I may not have had a chance to hit the table with yet. How cool is it, the foil of the apple with the skull on it? So you look at it from one way, it's an apple. Look at it from the other way, it's a bit of a poison apple. Very, very, very cool. So excited. Okay, so the same thing. There's an instruction video you can watch if you want to learn how to play the game. The rule book looks pretty much the same as the one in Evil Comes Prepared. This is obviously expansion Wicked to the Core now, sorry I should have said. And it has all the information for the 3 villains in this book, along with the rules and how to play and what happens, etc. Which is all straightforward and fun. Alright, sorry, the tokens are awesome. I will have a look at those shortly for you. I know you're all itching to see what's going on here, but let's just have a look at the player boards because they're so good. They're so good. Okay, so the Evil Queen from Snow White. Defeat Snow White is her objective. Pretty simple and straightforward. Or is it? Her quote, I'll be the fairest in the land. Fair enough. And then you've got her player board there with all the different artworks. Laboratory, woods, the mine, and of course the dwarves' cottage, which looks like it's a locked location to start off with. And then we have Hades from Hercules, one of the greatest Disney villains of all time. James Woods, what a man, what a doll, what a babe. Hercules is great. If you haven't seen it, again, what the hell are you doing here? I'll wait. Go watch it. Go on Disney Plus and do yourself a favour. Hades is just amazing. Different locations: the underworld, Thebes, the gardens, and of course Mount Olympus as well. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. He's a great villain, and I'm looking forward to having a play with him. And then this guy as well from The Princess and the Frog, Dr. Facilier, who's got friends on the other side. Voodoo Emporium, Parade, Tiana's Place, and then of course the Bayou as well, tracking down. His objective, control the talisman and successfully rule New Orleans, and then they win the game. Which reminds me, a Hades one. Start your turn with 3 titans at Mount Olympus and obviously take control. Just Dr. Facilier and Hades, 2 of my favourite villains, not just because of the way they were played, like Keith David obviously played Dr. Facilier, and it's just such an unexpected villain. I didn't know anything about Princess and the Frog. I knew it was a Frog Prince story with a twist, but he as a villain, as the Shadow Man, is so damn cool. I just wanted to get in there and play with the character and see what it was all about. Cast some voodoo spells as well, which would be awesome. So there's their character guides to instruct you on how to take control and rule. Again, player action guides, which is nice and straightforward. The movers in this box, I think, are my favourites. I'm sorry to say, I know the other ones look amazing, and I've said great comments about those as well, but these are just beautiful. So here, we've got the Evil Queen with her crown, her robes, flowing gowns, and it's a beautiful rich purple. It's just fantastic. And then we've got Hades here with the blue flame hair, yeah, kicking ass, and floating on clouds and things as well, as he does in the films. And then we've got the Voodoo Shadow Man hat and the tails at the back here, with the symbol that's on his hat of the skull and crossbones for Dr. Facilier, the feather as well. They are gorgeously sculpted. The resin is amazing. They shine better than the other ones as well. They just absolutely look amazing. Really, really gorgeous. I like it, and especially the two boys here that I'm looking forward to playing as. They just pop. They look absolutely amazing. Let's have a look at Snow White. The Queen's decks of cards, I should say. I can't go through all the cards, obviously, because there are so many. Ooh, the back of the cards for the Evil Queen. The mirror is in the middle. The poison apple is there as well, and even the tinderbox that she asked the woodsman to bring her heart back in as well. That just sums up the plot for the Evil Queen, pretty much. It's wow, very, very cool. The artwork again is the same style. You've got the huntsman cards, different enemies you can bring into play, different curses and spells. Obviously the old woman is there as well. Poison apple, that sort of stuff. The witch, take a bite. Come on, dearie, take a bite. Gonna have a lot of fun with this. And then you've got in her deck, you've got all the different dwarves. You've got pickaxes, you've got Doc, you've got Love's First Kiss as well. The woodland creatures help the Evil Queen in her tracks, stop the Evil Queen in her tracks. Wishing well. Snow White herself is here. There's all the different dwarves, mostly dwarves when you draw from the fake deck, I would imagine, because there's plenty of them. That's just what happens. I'm going to open the other decks of cards in a second, but obviously, of course, you've got more tokens, padlock tokens, power tokens. We know what those are all about. We don't need to open those. Let's have a look at Dr. Facilier's deck. I wonder if they did another expansion, which villains they'd have in it. Because there's already quite an assortment. Dr. Facilier's cards, he has his friends on the other side, the voodoo stuff, the cards will tell. Past and the present and the future as well. The talisman itself, take control of the talisman, take control of New Orleans. You've got the voodoo dolls, terror, using terror as an ability, it's a condition. A masked spirits, desperation, frog form, Lawrence. And then you've got the shadow spirits as well. Ruling New Orleans. And the artwork of the cards is just amazing. Again, that same style, casting voodoo magics and things too. Absolutely gorgeous. And Prince Naveen, who becomes the frog and then starts to secrete the mucus. Big Daddy LaBeouf, Evening Star, Charlotte, Mama Odie, Eudora, Juju the Snake, Tiana is here as well. Lewis, the croc who just wants to play some serious tunes. Sorry, Gator, the alligator, I should say. We're talking about New Orleans. And then Raymond, Cajun brah. Where is he? Where's Ray? I'm Cajun brah, living on the bayou. So cool. Okay. Now we have Hades. And we've got here the planets in alignment on the back of his cards. We've got different poison that obviously made Hercules immortal. More plastic than you can shake a stick at. And we've also got, let's see, we've also got Pain and Panic, obviously in the deck there for Hades, to cause trouble for everyone else. Lots of minions and things as well, and there will be some epic titans as well. Let's see, I can find some. Oh, the Hydra. The Hydra is there. That's awesome. Planets Aligned, Pyros, Nessus, the Achilles heel card. Very, very, very exciting stuff. And then in the Heroes or Fate deck, you've got Zeus. You've got the Gospel Truth card from all those the muses that sing along. Philatides is in there. Lightning bolts, all sorts of wonderful things. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it all. I love the shoes. I love the bag. I love it all. It's all amazing. I want it all. It's just brilliant. And that is Villainous and its two expansions, or standalones, I should say, unboxed, ready to go. I'm going to let these hit the table. We're going to play a few rounds. I will let you know what I think. I think you already know what I'm going to say. It's just amazing. The components are really good, and it's not just because of the IP. Everything is really high quality. Ravensburger and Wonder Forge have smashed it out of the park, and I haven't even played the games yet. But I want to, and I think that's the draw card of having the artwork and having the movers and everything else as well, and the fact that you've got villains fighting villains. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. I'm looking forward to playing as all the different characters. I don't even know where to begin now because there's so many good ones that I want to play as. We'll get some close-ups of all these components. Look, check out our YouTube channel, check out the Facebook page, check out the store as well. These are all available, so you can place your orders immediately if you wish. At the same time, check back on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to get the notifications when we post new videos. Check out our other videos as well, and keep playing games, and we'll see you at the table again very, very soon. Bye for now.